Ramirez, and I'm with Service Employees International Union, Local 105. And thank you so much for coming today as we celebrate Dia de los Muertos by sharing skeletons in Congressman Mike Coffman's closet that are a huge concern for our Latino community here in Colorado. Skeletons that working families in Aurora, Brighton, Centennial, and the other parts of Congressional District 6 really need to pay attention to. We know Congressman Mike Coffman is bad for our Latino community in Congressional District 6 and across Colorado, bad for working families, and against an economy that works for all of us. Mike Coffman voted against working families in Colorado when he voted against raising the minimum wage, when he called that much needed and deserved safety net program, Social Security, a Ponzi scheme, and voted to end Medicare as we know it. To tell us more about Mike Coffman's skeletons, I'd like to introduce State Senate President and Aurora voter, Morgan Carroll.
Good morning. We are here today. It is exciting to know that we are finally seeing our first Spanish language debate for Senate, Congressional District 6 tomorrow. But before we go into this debate, I think it's important that the people really be aware that there are some important skeletons in Mike Coffman's closet, things that people have a right to know going into this election. We have an important choice ahead of us that will decide whether we go forward or stay stuck on comprehensive immigration reform, on student loan debt reform, on whether we see Pell Grant support for college students, whether we pass the Federal Dream Act, or whether hardworking Coloradans and Americans finally get a raise. But the scariest thing about Mike Coffman isn't so much what he has done, it's really what he hasn't done. It's a question of what he has failed to do. And there are a few skeletons in his closet. We need a leader who will step up to help keep our families intact and our communities intact so that we're all able to pursue the American dream. So skeleton number one, I might introduce over here, important on immigration reform. Mike Coffman may talk about support for immigration reform, but when he had a chance to take action and actually show support for a bipartisan bill that passed the United States Senate, he stood with his fellow Republicans blocking that bill. In Colorado, we were able to pass ASSET, in-state tuition for all Colorado kids. We were able to pass a Trust Act to improve relations with law enforcement and start the process for driver's license for immigrants in Colorado. But while Mike Coffman was talking about immigration, we were solving problems here locally. We desperately need a congressman who will not stop, who will do everything within his power to make sure that we see comprehensive immigration reform as soon as possible, and it makes it easier to become an American and to keep our families together. So skeleton number two, on minimum wage. In Colorado, the people went to the ballot to increase the minimum wage and to give hardworking Coloradans a raise. What Mike Coffman doesn't want you to know is that he is opposed to increasing the minimum wage in Congress, and he opposed the minimum wage effort in Colorado that the voters approved at the ballot box. But what makes matters worse is that he then used the excuse of Colorado's minimum wage that passed, the very one he opposed, as an excuse to not do anything for the rest of hardworking Americans. Skeleton number three, making college affordable. Mike Coffman says he supports this, but he voted to cut Pell Grants for 1 million college students. In the state legislature this year, we passed the College Affordability Act that began to restore cuts to higher education after the recession we all experienced. We expanded scholarships for working students, and we finally capped tuition increases. And I'm proud to make sure that we made sure that all Colorado kids had an opportunity to pay in-state tuition to go to college, regardless of where their parents were born. Now it is time for Congress to do their part. It's overtime. And Mike Coffman might say he supports these things, but it is what he does that is more important. And in this case, what he has failed to do. One of the biggest skeletons in his closet are all of the opportunities, missed opportunities he had to act in Washington, D.C., and refused to act and even actively blocked progress. Colorado deserves better than this. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being leaders in Colorado and for making a difference. And hopefully people will learn a little bit more about some of these skeletons in Mike Coffman's closet.
Thank you so much, Senator Carroll. And now next we have Julie Gonzalez with the Colorado Latino Forum, who will be speaking about the skeleton of immigration in Coffman's closet.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Gonzalez, and I'm the statewide co-chair for the Colorado Latino Forum. And as we enter into this time when we honor our families, honor those who have passed for Dia de los Muertos, I want to take a moment to honor those who have been deported because of congressional inaction, because of executive inaction. Today we're here to call on Mike Coffman to stand for account for his many missed opportunities when he had a chance to do something to change the broken immigration system, and he chose not to act. And even more devastatingly, he chose to stand in support and block immigration reform. Congressman Coffman blocked immigration reform multiple times, tried to vote to confuse people on his record as it related to even deferred action for immigrant youth. And now Colorado voters in the 6th Congressional District have a clear choice whether or not they're going to stand for a congressman who hasn't taken action, or whether they will vote for a congressman who will take action and help our families. And so today, you know, we're here to stand to call voters to make a clear choice in regards to Congressman Coffman's records on immigration, because he hasn't had a clear choice when it comes to immigration. And so Colorado voters and voters here in Aurora and in the 6th Congressional District should remember clearly the skeletons in Congressman Coffman's closet. All of the families who have been separated as a result of his inaction on immigration policies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie. Next we have Angelina Sandoval, who's a student at CU Denver. She'll be speaking to us about the skeletons in Mike Coffman's closet around Pell Grants and educational programs.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Angelina Sierra Sandoval, and I am a student at the University of Colorado, Denver, with a major in political science and public policy and a minor in law studies. I'm here today to provide a voice for Colorado students, and especially those like me, who depend on Pell Grants in order to obtain their college degree. I'm proud to be graduating December 13th of this year, and I am currently in the process of applying to law school. I'm here today because Congressman Coffman does not believe that students like me should go to college. While in Congress, he supported a budget that would have cut Pell Grants programs by $2 billion. This means that more than 1 million students would have lost Pell Grants entirely over a period of 10 years. I would have never been able to graduate without the help of Pell Grants. I have been lucky to benefit from these grants for the past 4 years, and like many other students, I unfortunately needed student loans to cover the remainder of my tuition costs. The budget that Congressman Coffman supported would have also cut Pell Grant eligibility for students who attend classes less than half-time. It's important to keep in mind that opportunities of a higher education are not easy to come by. These days, students need to work their way through college and still end up paying thousands of dollars in debt. My mother is a prime example of this. She was a part-time student for many years, worked full-time, and was raising my younger brother and I by herself. If it wasn't for federal Pell Grants, my mother would have never been able to graduate from college, which she did almost 2 years ago. Pell Grants give a fair shot to students who are looking for better opportunities, and businesses are looking for more diverse employees. Latino students who receive federal Pell Grants are more likely to finish college. Also, Latino Pell Grant students like me are more likely to earn A's and B's in college than non-recipients because we have better opportunities to succeed. I want a congressman who has my back in Washington, and that is why I am here today, because your vote impacts my future. Congressman Coffman does not represent the needs of the Latino community and hasn't for the past 4 years. He knows he's trying to cover up what he really stands for. Instead of supporting policies that actually help our communities, he's taking up Spanish classes, going to Latino markets, and doing outreach. While reaching out to our communities is admirable, it's merely smoke and mirrors. I want to make sure that you see the skeleton in Mike Coffman's closet, his votes that he's actually taken. He simply cannot be trusted with our future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Angelina. Now we'll take any questions that you guys might have. Do you have any questions?
I think people want to do one-on-one.
Okay, thank you very much.